Hello and welcome. My name is Mike. Did you watch Tremors Shrieker Island recently? Are you dying to talk to a true Tremors fan about it? Are your emotions going crazy? Do you need a comment section and people to talk to and just let it all out and chop it all up? And from a YouTuber that actually loves this franchise and has loved it for over a decade, and not just some YouTuber that's like, oh, it's spooky month, it's October, so all of a sudden I'm a horror fan. Well, you've come to the right place, because my name is Mike, and we are going to do a spoiler-free and spoiler review for Tremors Shrieker Island. Let's slice right into it. So, Tremors 7 Shrieker Island. I love this movie, you guys. I felt like this movie did really well with its plot of a rich hunter and his buddies that illegally transported graboids to their private island, and they hunt them and breed them for sport. I was like, that's a cool concept. It's definitely different. It being on an island, I felt like the atmosphere, the scenery, and the shots were really different. Very, very different from what we've seen in Tremors films past, which all of them, minus the sixth one, of course, was all like deserty and kind of dry feeling. This one was totally flush, lots of greenery, the water, lots of scenes on boats, just totally different atmosphere, totally different place to be. And it definitely made it seem a lot more confined and a lot more like a pressure cooker in certain scenes, like if they're going into caves and stuff like that. Really, really fun stuff there, guys. I really very much appreciated that. I thought the cast was great. I thought that Michael Gross, of course, as Burt Gummer was absolutely amazing. He was phenomenal. He is one of my favorite characters of all time. Without a shadow of a doubt, Burt Gummer, Michael Gross killed it. John Heder did really good, kind of stepping up as that sidekick, younger sidekick role to Burt that has been played by multiple different actors kind of throughout the franchise. Of course, Travis, Burt's son being from the fifth and the sixth one, not reprising his role. Unfortunately, I feel like is the biggest hindrance on this film is Travis not being in it. Number one, I'm a huge fan of that character. I'm a fan of Jamie Kennedy and his portrayal of the character, and the relationship and dynamic, the father and son between Burt and Travis, I thought was really, really good and really gold. And had Travis been in this movie instead of John Heder's character, with all due love and respect to him, I feel like a lot of these beats and a lot of these scenes and things that happen would have been a lot better and much, much more impactful. And I think it would have been an all-around better film. But in terms of negative, that's really the only thing. The lady from Orange is the New Black, I thought did really well as well. She did really good. She was a badass, played her role well. She had some great lines in the film. It was a fun movie, you guys. If you guys like the newer Tremor films, right? After the fourth movie, the fifth and the sixth one, if you like those styles, if you like this style of Tremors, the kind of new age, the CGI, the faster pace, more action style of Tremors, then you're going to love this movie, guys. It's just like 5 and 6, but in some circles, I think it's even better than 5 and 6. They definitely put Burt in some situations that are different, that he's never faced before in the whole franchise. Of course, they always want to give Burt, obviously, the challenge of the graboids and the enemy, but they also like to give Burt other, like, more emotional things and characters that he has to come face to face with and kind of deal with on more of an emotional, kind of personal level. So there is also a new character in the franchise as well that will serve as that role for Burt, and the back and forth is great, and the story is really, really good. There's some great heartfelt stuff here, some really good character stuff from Burt, and more so than just him being over-the-top, crazy, survivalist, gun-ho Burt. There's some really, really good stuff in this film, and I think they really knocked it out of the park. I think Tremors Shrieker Island did a great job. It is an amazing 7th installment to the franchise, and if you like Tremors and you like the last two, you're guaranteed going to like this, and I would very much recommend that you check it out. And I personally, in my movie rankings, I recommend or I don't recommend, and this I strongly recommend. I love Tremors Shrieker Island. It was great. It was action when it had to be action. It was funny when it had to be funny. And it was absolutely an awesome movie. It didn't drag at all for me. I loved it from top to bottom. So again, I recommend this movie. Couldn't recommend it anymore. If you're a fan, go out and see Tremors Shrieker Island. So that's going to do it for the spoiler-free section of the review. I am now going to go into spoilers. But if you are leaving, I want to say thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little review. It's hard to get into without spoiling it, and if you've seen the film, then you know why. But with that being said, please subscribe for more great horror content, and of course, for more Tremors content. Thank you all so much. Did they do it? Did they really do it? I don't know. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some other things within the spoiler section for Tremors Shrieker Island. I really enjoyed the characters again, like I said in my spoiler-free, and I really love the character of Jazz, or Jasmine. I thought she was really good, and I thought she was a great the great emotional counterpart, the sparring partner, if you will, for Burt Gummer, for him to face her again and have to try to come to face with those emotions, and to watch Burt just try to totally avoid it and go be by himself and isolate himself. I really enjoyed that aspect of it because, of course, Travis was not here for him to bounce off of as a son. So, of course, now he had the mom to bounce off with and face his past, which I thought was a lot of fun. I also really enjoyed the aspect of Island Burt. Now, granted, he was only Island Burt for a few minutes in the film. He wasn't in it very long. They kind of teased, they flirted with the idea of a Island Burt Gummer, just totally off the grid. Hair, beard grown out. They definitely. They flirted with the idea, but they kind of got over it real quick. But even so, I still enjoyed it. It was something different for Burt. It was a different look, a different idea. And him trying to avoid the government because of like a sewer system, I thought was hilarious. I was dying. I was rolling. I was absolutely rolling when Burt gave his reason as to why he decided to go off the grid. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I thought this movie was great, guys. I really enjoyed the aspect of not having guns. Now, of course, Burt Gummer is known as a gun enthusiast and everything, but watching Burt have to get creative and use other things like the machetes and the throwing knife, and Burt using a fucking flamethrower, that's amazing. I thought that was so cool. The CGI was great, and guys, it's the return of the Shriekers to the franchise. We haven't seen Shriekers since the third film, I believe, so that's super cool to see them come back. This film I thought was really good, guys, and as you guys know, if you have seen it, or if you're watching this and you don't care if it gets spoiled, this might be the end of the line, guys. This might be the last movie in the Tremors franchise, or at least as we know it. They might reboot it, years down the line for some other reason, for money or whatever. But, yeah, they pulled the trigger on killing Burt Gummer. I can't believe it. I was choked up. I'm not going to lie. I was choked up watching it, and I just kept waiting for his hand to pop up and grab onto the edge of the cliff and pull himself up, and it never came. It never came. And then, telling my wife, I said, all right, there's going to be an after-credit scene. There's going to be an after-credit scene. Don't worry. We get a montage of Burt Gummer moments from the whole franchise, and I was like, fuck me. It hit me hard. But you know what, though? Michael Gross has stated that, the door is still open. We didn't see a body. We didn't see remains. So maybe they'll come back someday, maybe not. But I will say this, though, that if this was the end of Burt Gummer, if this was the end of a character that I love, that I hold near and dear to my heart, if you've watched my Horror on the Horizon or my NECA wishlist video, you know how I feel about this franchise. You know how I feel about Burt Gummer, Michael Gross, and my attachment to this character. If this was the end, I think they did Burt justice. I mean, Burt went out saving someone else, one-on-one, mano-a-mano with a graboid, the biggest graboid ever, and just flipping it, just giving it the good old, just flipping it the finger and just getting taken off the cliff like a badass that he is. So if this is the end, I think they did it justice. But as I touched on before, my only real gripe with this film is I wish Travis would be in the movie. I wish Jamie Kennedy would have reprised his role, because I feel like that ending, that emotional gut punch that we got at the end of the movie, had that been a father and son, had that been Burt saving and pushing his son out of the way, had that been, Travis saying, Dad, versus, Mr. Gummer, you know what I mean? It would have been so much more emotional, and it would have been such a gut punch. And I really wanted to see the torch passed to Jamie Kennedy for the Tremors franchise. I thought he was a great character, and he was very, very well missed in this, at least by my account. Some fans, maybe they're not a big fan of Travis or Jamie Kennedy in general or what have you, but I was. It was very depressing not to see him. So if this is the end of Tremors, I think they did a damn good job. This film is a lot of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But, yeah, guys, hey, all I can say, if that's the end of Burt, let's talk about it in the comments, guys. Let's see if we can hold it together. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because I'm so attached to that character. But let's see if we can hold it together and hope that maybe Burt will come back someday. And if not, it was one hell of a send-off for Mr. Gummer. We love you and we love Tremors. Thank you. That was my spoiler-free and spoiler discussion for Tremors Shrieker Island. I'm going to talk about this film and this franchise more on my channel. I've already talked about it in previous videos, and I'm going to talk about it in more videos. I'm going to talk about my Tremors screen-used props right there in this case. I'll be doing a video on those eventually as well. But with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. And bear with me, you guys. I've only reviewed one other movie on this channel. I'm still trying to get kind of in my rhythm of reviewing movies. So just bear with me, you guys. But if you enjoyed this and you want more great horror content, more Tremors content, please subscribe to the channel, you guys. It would mean so much to me. But even more so than that, drop your comments and let's talk, let's interact, because that's why I made this channel, was to talk, to interact, and just be amongst other fans, especially with this movie, because we all need to fucking hug each other, and we need to fucking batten down in our basements and just fucking binge eat MREs and Google fucking HK41s all day in fucking mourning the loss of Burt Gummer. At least, so it seems. So again, you guys, if you guys like what you see here and you want to talk to me on a more personal level, or you want a more personal look at my life of horror, right there on Instagram is the place to do it, you guys. You can shoot me messages. I will respond back to you. We can go back and forth. We can talk about horror movies. You can request videos. Do whatever the hell you want. You can send me fucking whatever the fuck you want. You can send me fucking toe pictures for all I give a shit. I don't really care. But so hit me up on Instagram, you guys, and I appreciate it so, so, so very much. Again, my name is Mike, and this is my design.